Hi there, this is Art and Such with my Rainbow Loom tutorial for Sonya for Mortal Kombat. To go with the rest of my Mortal Kombat crew, what I've got out so far. I'm going to make one little change to the waist here, otherwise we'll be making what you see here. And I will give you the option of, if you want to make this area a little bit tighter, we can work that out. I've left out the little belt sash, but if you want to add that at the end, all it takes is a chain of doubled over singles to the desired length and you'll fit that in. I'm using yellow for the hair. You can use yellow or gold. I'm using little black beads. They're just a couple millimeters wide for the eyes. A black band for the headband, which will be woven in afterwards. I experimented a little bit with placing this on as we're looping, but this comes out a lot nicer. And you're going to need some skin tone and the green of your choice and white for the little boots, little shoes. You'll also want a hook, a holding hook, and a C-clip, and you're going to need your loom in the offset configuration. So let's start by making the arms. And this is a moderate to advanced level project, so we're going to go a little bit fast, but I'll be as clear as I can. We take 2 bands, wrap them 2 to 3 times, pull onto 3 sets of double black bands. And then we switch back to the skin tone and put on 3 sets of double skin tone bands. If you want these to be tighter, you can always double over single bands instead, but I kept mine a little bit loose. She has rather thick muscular arms, and this will look just fine. Okay, one more set of double black and 2 sets of skin tone. You can make it one shorter and just do 1 set if you prefer. I'm doing 2 sets. And doubles all the way here. There's one arm. Let's make our other. We'll do it a little bit faster here. It's a single wrap, or sorry, double bands wrapped 2 to 3 times. Pulled onto 3 sets of double black bands again. And 3 sets of double skin tone. And these can stay here. We'll make our, oh, sorry, 2 more sets here. A couple more sets here. Double black and 2 more skin tone. And these can actually just sit on your hook because we'll start working on the loom and then we'll add these on and we can do our legs a little bit later when we get to that point. Alright, 2 arms on the side, come over to your loom. We're coming down twice in the center with double skin tone. You can fortify the first set by putting 3 bands if you want it to be a little bit stronger. 2 skin tone bands coming from the second peg to the second peg on the side, and from the second middle peg to the second peg on the right side. Let's come down on either side with double green bands. And in the middle we can come down 3 times with double green bands starting at the 3rd peg down. I'll hold this up for you in 1 second here. Now, to get this really thick look on the upper chest area, I've used a total of 8 bands on the next peg. If you are a little concerned about this, it's too much, you can leave it just with a couple, but you won't have that added thickness. And another option that you have is to add an extension, a side extension, and I'll show you how to do that in 1 second. First, let's lay out our 8 bands for those who are choosing the same method here. And then I'll show you what the extension would look like. if you wanted to leave only 2 bands here, then what you could do is take a single, wrap it twice, and pull it onto a double. And once you placed your next 2 bands, which we can all do here, it's green again, is you would take the cap band and place it on your 4th peg down, and you would place the bands that are on your hook onto the peg above and just leave normally. So that's if you want to get this effect in a different way, but this works very well. It's nice and tight, so it won't be flopping about, and I just like the way it looked there. Okay, getting back to the loom here, we're coming down with double skin tone bands on each of the rows, and we're going to do 2 sets down on each of these. So grab another 2 for each row. On our left side and on our right side, we're coming down with double black bands. And we're going to come down twice in the middle with double black. On either side, we want now, again, this is optional, I wanted my legs to be really thick at the top. So I'm using 6 bands, 4 bands, 3 bands, 3 bands. If you're okay with this thickness, or again you want to simplify things, you can just leave them all at 2. And we're going to go to the bottom of our loom. So I'm using 6 on one side, and 6 bands on the opposite side, and then numbers again below that, it was 4 bands. This just gives it a little bit of added thickness, and there are a number of ways that you can achieve this effect, but well, I'm going for the most direct one this time. We put down 3 bands on either side, and then 2 sets of 2. If you don't want this again, I'll repeat again, you can just place 2 bands on each of these pegs. And we're going to add a little extension-y piece for the leg shortly. Okay, so maybe we'll put on our arms and we'll do our legs, and then we can come back and put on our holding bands and finish off the last section. I think that'll be the most efficient way here. I'm going to make both of the legs with you, and we're using our pretty standard boot method. It's 2 white bands, wrap them 2 to 3 times around your hook, pull it onto 2 bands, but do not replace the end. Okay, pinch, take 2 more whites, wrap them once, twice, 3 times. Do it twice if you want it to be a little bit looser, or if you're having trouble with the tension. Take a single, double it over, slide all of these bands on top. You can do them all at once or a couple at a time. Just make sure that you've got them all and it's sliding smoothly. And from here it's pretty easy. We have 2 sets of double white bands. So 2 bands here, 2 bands here, 2 skin tone bands, 1 set of 2 here, and 2 sets of double green. And this goes on to the bottom of one side, and we'll make a boot for the other side. So here we go with our white again. 2 whites wrapped 1, 2, 3 times. Hold on to 2 more whites. Take 2 and wrap them in the middle. Replace, and a doubled over single. Slide these all through, or slide it through all of these, I should say. Replace, and pull it through 2 sets of double white. another pair of skin tone and 2 pairs of green, and this one will be ready as well. Now, okay, this is a little bit tricky, and here's the thing. This is the side that we're looking at now, but we want the chest to be broader and more bulging. So when we pull this off the loom, we're going to be flipping it around, and that means that our backside has to look really neat. So we're doing this, it's not going to be harder, it's just a little bit different from the design perspective. But what I want you to decide at this point is whether you'd like a longer middle section for the block, for the kind of mini skirt bikini bottom here, or shorter. If you want it shorter, you'll take off this last set and you'll have a pair of black coming down from the top of the screen on the side. That's your 6th peg up from the bottom to the 5th peg up in the middle, coming down diagonally. You'll repeat it from the left side and you'll cap it off. If you want it to be a little bit longer, then we keep this black one on and we come down with 2 blacks from the top of the green to here, to the bottom of the black. If you want it even longer, what you can do is you can add an extra set of black and connect your black up to the side, up to the side, I should probably show you this here, up to the side diagonally again. So I'm not trying to confuse you, I'm just showing you some different options. This is for very long, this is for medium, and this is the way that I'm going to do it. And if you don't want this, just take off this last set and bring this black diagonal band up. We do this from the other side now, and we're going to cap it. And this makes the bikini bottom section a little bit, just a little bit longer. What you can also do if you want is put in an extra set of black bands here to here, here to here, and that will, I don't know, I didn't really like the way it looked, but that's what you see here. That's these bands and these bands. I just found it came out kind of loose and I had to do a lot of adjusting. So we're going to keep this a little bit simple, and as you see it here. Now for our holding bands, we need a single green to come across all of the 3rd pegs if you're coming down, form a triangle. We need the next 3 bands as doubled over singles, that's 2 greens, so 1 green, and a 2nd green below that, and our next one is going to be a skin tone band. See if I have any already stretched out here. Okay. Our next skin tone band, holding band, can be a single, and the next one can be black or green. I'm just going to use a green one here. Now our body is all ready to loop up, and we'll proceed. So let's start, we'll start in the middle, get underneath your cap band, and you're going to go for the top 2 bands, which are these diagonal ones from the left. They're going to go back to where we got them from. So right back up onto the peg where they start. Be really careful, hold down your cap band if you need. We go back inside and catch the next 2 bands and bring them carefully around and up onto the right peg that they came from. That's where our green band started. And go back for your last band and loop up once. Just make sure that I've got both of them here. Now we're going to loop up on either side. So we start with a normal chaining procedure. Get under your leg extension. Take your top 2 bands up and over and onto the peg above. grab the next two and loop up. We're going to go straight forward, but just bear in mind some of these pegs have lots of bands on them and you need to make sure that you catch them all. And some of these bands are going to have a little bit of extra tension or some extra pieces to go through, such as this piece here, our waist. Make sure you've pushed everything back and you're only getting the bottom two black. Stay inside your holding bands as you go. And when you reach this set here with our full 8, you can bring them all up together or you can bring them up a couple at a time and just do whatever's easiest and most comfortable for you. Go inside again and get your next 2. Feel free to pause me at any point. I know there's a lot that we're doing here. And under the arm, get the last 2, bring them to the center. So we've looped up one side and we come back to the bottom. We do all of this again on the right. Okay, our 6 bands on the top of the thigh here. Push back and get your black. Keep going forwards. And last 2 back to the center. Here we need to return to that 5th peg up from the bottom where we left off our looping in the middle row. We're going to get the 2 black and bring them forward and loop straight to the top of the loom now. This was really our hardest part. The headband attachment takes a little bit of fiddling sometimes, but if you've made it this far, it shouldn't be bad from here. Alright, so the bands on the top peg of your loom are going to go onto a holding hook. And we will carefully remove this from the loom starting at the top. And just be careful because we have a lot of tension, we have a lot of bands, and we have a couple of sections that are going to want to sort of spring and pop and stretch out if we do them too quickly, especially at the bottom in the center. We want to try and do that as evenly as we can. It can get really messy and you don't want to deal with that. Okay, let's loosen it up in the middle here. And pop it off. Give everything a little adjustment, and if you have any loose bands, you can tuck them in now. I'm gonna turn this around. Oh, I can see some of my bands twisted. We'll try and press them back into shape here as best we can. Okay, shape out the bottom piece. And I can see here, I'm going to make an annotation for you to keep those extra 2 bands because I think it does cinch it in a little bit, although it will need some tightening. And if you want your legs to sit a little bit closer, one thing that you can do is slip your band in, or sorry, your hook in through the back, through some green, through some black, through some green, and just secure it with the band. So slide a band through, and here, and here. And that can go on to a C-clip be woven in, and that'll just help tighten things up. But yeah, I'll make sure to leave you a note because I think it looks like those extra diagonal bands will help out. But that's okay. It's the way we learn, right? Okay, see, these are the ones, as I said, it will help to cinch it in. And I'll make you a note for that, I promise. Now, let's go back to the loom and we'll put on our hair. It's 2 bands down to the right, 2 bands down to the left, starting at the top center. Come down twice on either side with double bands, and 1 time in the middle with double bands. Switch to skin tone, come down twice in the center, double bands. Once from the 3rd right to the middle 4th, once from the 3rd left to the middle 4th. Let's put on 2 doubled over singles as our holding triangles from our 2nd pegs across and then over our 3rd pegs. If you're using bands for your eyes, you can take your eye color now, wrap it 3 times on your hook, repeat, and slide both onto a skin tone. If you're using beads with a large hole, you can put them onto your hook, transfer to a skin tone band, and if you're using beads with a smaller hole as I am, we're using the dental floss method again. Slide your floss through both beads, slide it through a band, come over the band and back through the beads, and then pull. I'm just making sure I get them both on here. Alright, there we are. Stretch your band with your eyes across the 2nd pegs, and we're going to get between the eyes here. Bring the hook in between if we can, and we're going to take 1 piece up and over the 2nd peg on the center. Let's add our body on with the front facing up, and then I'm going to show you how to, this is our front, how to do the hair chains in just a second, but let's start by looping up the first bit here. And for that, we need to get under the neck piece, and go for the top 2 bands, and bring them to the left. Go inside again, get the next 2, bring them to the right, and the last 2 are going to go up, and we can actually loop all the way to the top in the center row at this point. So I'm just looping up 3 times in the middle now. Get this neck piece out of the way. Okay, for our little hair extensions, you can make it any length you want, and you can even make it into a ponytail by attaching them on the top and wrapping a band around it. For this style, we're taking a single, wrapping it 2 to 3 times, pulling it onto a doubled over band. You can use just 2 bands together if you want it a little looser, and then I put it onto 2 singles. And this goes onto the 3rd peg down on the side, right on top of those skin tone bands. We reach inside, go for the bottom 2 yellows, and loop straight to the top and then into the middle. And we'll repeat this on the other side. Single, wrap twice on a doubled over band, on 2 single bands. Put it on the 3rd peg down, right side here now, and we go in and loop straight to the top. Loop inwards diagonally, so we came from the top right to the top center, and take a single band, get it on your finger, press your hook through the bands of the top peg with the oval part pointed away, slide it up and through, other end on and pull one side over the other to create a slip knot. And you can take this off of the loom. You can be a little bit careful as you go here. Alright, make sure you're looking at the front side and press your eyes through. You can hide your securing band under some bands at the back. I'm going to wait to do that just a minute because I want to put my headband through first. So I come through from the back of the head, through to the front, and I put my hook where I'd like my headband to show up here. Put a black band onto your hook and slide it back to the back of your head. And now I'm going to catch my holding band and put it on my hook. Okay, this is the back side, this is the front side. And my hook is going to go back through on the far side. Grab the band again, the black band, and slide to the back. This might take a couple of tries to get the right positioning or the right tension. And when it is where you want it, you can secure it all. So I'm gonna get a couple of my loose bands and make this all nice and tight now. I'm just pulling it. You pull it, grab a second band and hook it over, pull it over. When you're ready, it goes onto a C-clip. Okay. I'm just finding a nearby band to keep it a little bit snug here. Alright, so I'll make you the note about the waist for when you make the video, and I have Scorpion out and Sub-Zero, so please check out some of my other tutorials, and thank you for watching.